Okay, so I was talking to a buddy of mine the other night, and he was talking about the stick shift of the gun world. The stick shift of the gun world is iron sights. Okay, iron sights were, well, they're the original. So, there's a lot of people that it's a lost art being able to shoot with iron sights. Iron sights, they've been responsible for a lot of really long shots. I mean, in wartime, the Russians, they didn't typically have a lot of optics. Even some of the American snipers and people like, that done a lot of precision shooting, it was all about ability. It was all about talent, knowing their rifle, and they could make some extremely long shots with iron sights. So I'm going to talk a little bit about two different things: the iron sights and introducing your kids into hunting. I'm going to try to stay on topic. If you believe that, I got some property I'll sell you. Oceanfront, Arizona. Good stuff. Anyway, okay, so iron sights. The problem with iron sights, I think a lot, is focus. People don't understand where they need to focus. They'll always look at the sights, and the sight will be really plain to them in their eye, and the target will be blurry, or the target will be clear and the sights will be blurry. So this is where you got to lie to your eyes a little bit. Now, you can force focus your eye. It's not totally an involuntary muscle, your eye. You can force it to focus on different things. Even though I'm looking at something 20 yards away, I can focus my eye on something that's like iron sights. But you can't focus on two different things at the same time. You can, it's actually possible, but it takes an incredible amount of practice to be able to do it, and I've not got there yet. But iron sights, the way I do it, and I know there's a million people out there that's going to argue, this is what works for me. It's a starting place for you to have a lot of fun with iron sights, because I remember when I was a kid, I had iron sights on a rifle, and me and my dad would sit and we would have a contest on who could shoot a pencil and nibble a pencil down to where there was nothing left, and the loser is the one that knocked the pencil over. So, or if you missed the pencil altogether. We did that with iron sights. I'd take a turn, he'd take a turn. So it was a lot of fun. We'd done a lot of shooting back then, and the days are gone where you can just stop on the road, and shoot tin cans and stuff like that. All those days are gone. And while it probably isn't a horrible thing, it keeps a lot of people out of the woods, I think, because they don't have any place to shoot, and then you've got these unbelievable fees of shooting ranges, and it's expensive. And I get it. I get why people don't do it anymore. But the way I do it personally with iron sights is I will focus on the target. The front sight will be a little bit blurry. The back sight will be nothing but a haze. You're just seeing, how your sights are made. And I don't bury the bead into the groove in the rear sight. I use it as a guideline. Kind of like Pirates of the mere guidelines. But anyway, to be able to focus on your target, I believe, is the most important thing. I think that's the way we did it in the Marine Corps. It's been a long time since I was on a rifle range, but we shot targets out to 500 meters with open sights, and all of us were proficient at that distance. That's a long ways with iron sights, and we were hitting a target religiously. So they are effective. A scope is made to, it just narrows your focus. I will get into, if you wear bifocals, it's a whole other challenge. I just got bifocals a few years ago, and I had to reteach myself how to shoot iron sights. So anyway, we're going to shoot a few times, and this rifle that I'm shooting today is it's just an old Winchester 22. I use a 22. Almost all of my practice comes with a 22 LR. I don't just sit and shoot my centerfire rifles a lot, because mainly it's money, but your technique and everything is all about trigger control, natural point of aim, which I'm going to do a video on natural point of aim too. I just don't want to make this one horribly long. But we're going to shoot a few times. We'll go down and look at the target, and I'll try to walk you through it as I'm going, and hopefully it'll take some of the discouragement out of buying a rifle and not having a scope on it, or a slug gun. My son has a slug gun that is one hole accurate at 50 yards with open sights. It will, one hole being, it will just chew a hole, and it's very accurate. I got a muzzleloader that is the same way, with the open sights on it. It's got a really great set of open sights on it, but it is, you know, I would not hesitate on shooting the smallest target with it, because it is very accurate. So I'm going to shoot a few times, go down and look at the target, and remember, it's all about technique. It's all about, you have to focus on the target. So I'm going to get it in the rifle here. I'm going to turn the camera just a little bit. It'll probably fall over, but yeah, there we go. And I'll try to walk you through as I'm going. So right now, I'm looking through the sights. I've got both eyes open, so that means I see two different sets. So I'm going to close one eye. And I've shot this rifle a lot, so I know exactly where it hits. It hits just about 1 inch high. I put my front bead directly under, just about 1 inch under my target, because I know where the bullet goes. I don't mess with the sights any. I just, I roll with it, because I know where the rifle shoots. So I like being able to see the target. If you adjust your sights to where you're covering your target up with your front bead, then you lose focus. So I like to be able to focus on the target. So we're going to crank a few out here. We're going to see where we're heading. A little off. My natural point of aim was off to the left. Okay. So what's that one? Okay, so the whole time I'm focusing on the target, not on the sights. I'm using the sights. They're a tool to point the rifle. So I'm not, the sights are actually blurry the way I'm doing it. And you're resting that front bead inside of the groove. Let's say this is a groove, and I'm just resting that front bead right in there, and I keep it even with the top. And my target, the little dot I'm shooting at down there, is up here. Okay, so I'm just using my sights as a tool to get me on target. And at 25 yards there, it looks like I've got a really good group. I make some really good groups with iron sights. So it's all about technique. It's all about shooting habits. It's all about knowing your rifle. It's all about sitting down and firing that rifle and knowing where it hits, you know. And at 50 yards, I would do the same thing. At 75, I would probably cover the target up a little more with the front bead because the bullet drops. But on squirrels, I would not hesitate to take a body shot on a squirrel with this rifle with open sights at 70 yards. Would not even hesitate a bit. My eyes don't focus like they used to, so typically when I take this rifle I do kill less squirrels because it takes me forever to get focused on them. And scopes let me cheat a little bit. So anyway, we'll take a quick look at the rifle. It's just a standard set of iron sights. You can see I don't have anything that's not available to everyone else. So we'll go down here and take a look at the target. I do need to point that rifle a different direction. It's an antique. Old and grumpy like me. So when you're out shooting, pay attention to your rifle, and it'll lead the way. It will tell you what it needs. Oh yeah. So I'm shooting at a place that is less than dime size. And you can see I've got I don't even remember how many times I shot. I know it was at least 4, but I actually made a better group with the iron sights than I did the other day with my scope. Okay, and that wasn't on purpose. Ironically, the first 2 shots I called that were off the other day, by the way. So, iron sights, effective? Oh yeah. Yep. Lots of yeps on that. So we're going to move away from the iron sights for a second. We're going to talk about getting kids introduced into hunting. Don't handicap your kid with a rifle or something like that they're not used to. You know, if you need to let that kid, you know, obviously supervised, you know, you got to make disclaimers nowadays. Ain't that awful? But, you know, let that kid shoot a lot. Let him get used to it. And don't handicap them with a gun that is ineffective for them in the woods. One of the quickest ways to discourage a kid is not to kill game. If you've got a kid that continually, you know, you're taking him out, he's hunting, and he's constantly missing stuff, he's going to get discouraged. And it's easy to do. I do it. Whenever I go through a bad streak in squirrel season, I get childish. I don't even want to go hunting, you know. Well, a kid's no different, only worse. So you don't want to burn a kid out on hunting with an ineffective weapon for them. As far as squirrel hunting goes, now the way I did my son, but my son grew up with a gun in his hands. You know, literally, when he was 4 years old, he was shooting a 410 shotgun. Notice I said 410 shotgun. Okay, that way he was hitting his target, and I had reduced loads. You know, they didn't kick at all, and he had a lot of fun. So that's something that don't handicap your kid with you know, if you hand them a rifle with open sights and they can't hit the broadside of a barn with it on target, they're not going to hit anything in the woods, and they're going to get discouraged. And plus, with a rifle in the woods nowadays, you got to be careful. There's houses everywhere. So if you don't have a backstop, you know, it's not a good idea to send a kid out there with a .22 rifle. So let them, you know, let them get their numbers. You know, let them. I got a friend of mine. He says if you squirrel hunt with a shotgun, it's blasphemy. You know, but you let a kid start out. When they start killing 5 squirrels, when they start getting their limit with a shotgun, then you can switch them over to a rifle and present them with a challenge. And every now and then as a treat, let them take the shotgun again. It's not going to hurt anything. So there's a lot more to it. When you're raising a kid and you're in the woods, you're going to dedicate about a decade to screwed up hunts, a lot of noise. You're going to dedicate, and I did not have any patience until I started teaching my son to hunt, but I wanted him to love the sport so much that I gave up the big numbers for myself. It was incredibly hard to some days I did leave him at home, so I would go actually get some game, and that was a bonus for him, because he wanted to go. And it's like, no, son, you got to stay here. I really need to get out. Some days it worked out, some days it didn't. But above all else, get your kids outside. Get them off the game systems. Create things for them to do. I refer to back to the iron sights, the stick shift of the gun world. The joke where if you have a stick shift car, it can't be stolen by a millennial. Well, we're almost there with iron sights. If they don't have a set of crosshairs that says shoot here, they have no idea how to do it. So, just a little crack on generation to generation. Don't take it to heart. Just the only thing you can do is try to raise your kids the best way you know how. And so that's about all I have. So we've proven that iron sights are very accurate. The old timers used them with great effectiveness. I use them with a lot of success. I cheat a lot. I do use scopes on just about everything, but I think this rifle may be the only rifle I own other than a muzzleloader and a few other things that have iron sights, pistols obviously. But we just need to learn and be more effective with the rifles we own. And you don't have to have that $1,000 scope. Just think how much, if a person had their eyes replaced, how much they would cost. So we have the best optic in the world right here. We have 2 of them. We have the best optics made. Our own eyes. Our own eyes are far better than a scope. The engineering of them is what I'm getting at. They're a marvel. So let's use them. Thanks a lot for your all's time. I hope you enjoyed the video.